शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवद्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भाष्य let us see where it is. Let's see. Uh, 42 on page 273. You can please repeat now. Annamayadibhyah
अन्नमयादिभ्यः
आनन्दमयान्तेभ्यः
आनन्दमयान्तेभ्यः
आत्मभ्यः
आत्मभ्यः
अभ्यन्तरतमं ब्रह्म
अभ्यन्तरतमं ब्रह्म
विद्यया
विद्यया
प्रत्यगात्मत्वेन
प्रत्यगात्मत्वेन
दिदर्शयिषु शास्त्रम्
दिदर्शयिषु शास्त्रम्
अविद्याकृत
अविद्याकृत
पञ्चकोश
पञ्चकोश
उपनयनेन
अपनयनेन
अनेकतुष
अनेकतुष
कोद्रव
कोद्रव
वितुषीकरणेन इव
वितुषीकरणेन इव
तदन्तर्गत
तदन्तर्गत
तण्डुलान् प्रस्तौति
तण्डुलान् प्रस्तौति
तस्माद्वा एतस्मात्
तस्माद्वा एतस्माद्
अन्नरसमयात् इत्यादि.
अन्नरसमयात् इत्यादि.
Yeah, very good. So this is a very beautiful and a very complete segue. And the segue, it is a segue in many ways. It's a segue from the Annamaya to the Pranamaya, the next kosha. For the first time, he calls it a kosha. And the word kosha is used for the first time. That itself should make us sit up, because up till now, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, etc., this is what was being used. Now, for the first time, the word kosha is used, and that itself should make us say, oh, what does the Acharya here, Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, what does he intend? What does he intend to convey? So that itself will, that itself needs to be unfolded. And then here, that is the first thing. So first, it is what is called, as I said, Sangati Bhashya, with a little drishtanta given at the end. We have seen the meaning, so there is no, what is that called? There is no suspense here. So the removing the husk, a grain, kodrava means grain, a particular kind of grain, which is now extinct. But to show the grain, you have to remove the husk. That is the idea. And so in that sense, these 5 koshas, are going to, which are the places where the mistake is being made. What kind of mistake? I am this much alone. That kosha is me alone. That is the mistake that is always being made. And those mistakes to remove, now there is this, what is called segue bhashya. Segue means it is a connecting from Annamaya to Pranamaya, but just like everything else that Adi Shankara does, it's not just a segue bhashya. It also is a what is that called? A commentary. That's why in these three lines, the whole hour will go in these three, four lines, I'm sure. It is a whole commentary on the pedagogy of the Upanishad. Herein lies the strength, because it's not just a segue. It's not just how do we connect the dots from Annamaya to Pranamaya. Okay, blah, blah, blah. This is what it is. Okay, moving on. No, there is absolutely no glossing over. And everything is just so in detail. The entire pedagogy of the Upanishad, in the form of this Panchakosha pedagogy, this Karyakarana prakriya, cause effect pedagogy, and Panchakosha pedagogy, all of them are included. All of them are commented upon. And the reason why these Pancha Koshas, these five koshas are talked about, is also commented upon. And how is the elimination? What is the connection between the Prakriya and the Phalam? What is the Phalam? And let us not forget whatever has gone before. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, all right, the definition of Brahman, what is that? Yo Veda Nihitam Guhaya, the one who knows it as the truth of themselves, Saha Ashnute, etc., etc. So, this Brahma Vidya Phalam, in order to enjoy this Guha Nihitatvam, this understanding, this Brahman as the truth of myself. Guha means buddhi, as we saw. So, buddhau nihitam brahma, to understand this Brahman as the truth of myself, to identify with it, I have to first disidentify with all other nonsensical areas where I make the mistake. I am as good as the deha, I am as good as the prana, ityadi. So that is this. So the Panchakosha Prakriya, the pedagogy of the five koshas, which this Upanishad is famous for, is not just for a show. It is so that the errors in connecting to this Brahman as myself, in identifying this Brahman as myself, the errors are eliminated. And unless the wrong identification is pointed out, and what is that? One beats it out of oneself through constant shravanam. This identification is worn out. Unless and until that is done, then I am not able to abide in who I am, because the whole life, why only one life? Life after life is spent in identifying with what I am not. This is the connection. This is the story. Now, as though this was not enough, these three, four lines that we just repeated, which we just chanted of the Bhashya, does one more thing. What does it do? Let's just count the first two things so that we don't forget. First thing it does is that it connects it makes a nice connection, a bridge between Annamaya and Pranamaya, the Pranamaya kosha that we are about to study. Second, it comments this particular portion of the Bhashya, comments upon in great detail, comments upon what? Comments upon how this prakriya, this pedagogy of the five koshas, that which as it were cover the eye by encouraging me, as it were, to identify with the not I repeatedly. How does that do that? And what is the function of this prakriya, this particular pedagogy? The function of this pedagogy is to eliminate wrong identification so that I can own up Brahman as myself. These are the two purposes. Additionally, the third purpose is to see that when the koshas are falsified, Bhashyakara is going to point out, yes, Annamaya is not you. But in the process, what is the Upanishad showing? The Upanishad is at the same time unfolding the nature of Brahman as Tatastha Lakshana. This is really brilliant. And this small little portion of the Bhashya helps us to see that. So, Swarupa Lakshana we have seen. What is Swarupa Lakshana? The intrinsic definition of Brahman, without which Brahman cannot be. Earlier in a previous class today, I was saying the following. What was I saying? I was saying that, just what is the definition of fire? What is the Lakshana, the definition of fire? Fire is that which is hot and which has heat and light, we can say. There is no fire that can be without heat and without light. And so that is the intrinsic to the definition of the fire, are the attributes called heat and light. Okay. So now, what is the, what is the definition of Brahman? We saw Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that is the definition of Brahman. That which is everything, that which is everywhere, that which is all pervasive, and then that which is you, and which is the source of everything, that which is existent. It is existent and it is all knowledge. That's why it is you, because it is sentient, and you are also that consciousness, that same consciousness, because there is only one consciousness, and so therefore there is no other consciousness, and so therefore that is limitless. We saw that. So just like heat and light are to fire, these three attributes, these three, we cannot call them attributes, even by mistake. These three are Satyam Jnanam Anantam, are the definition of Brahman. Okay. So this is what is called Swarupa Laksha. But then this is, not a complete definition. Why? Because we are living in a manifest universe. And it is nice to see, oh, yo veda nihitam guhayam so shnute sarvan kaman brahmana saha brahmana vipaschita saha samashnute. How lovely, I'm enjoying this in the form of Brahman. But then what happens? The class is over. And after the class is over, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. After that, what happens? Oh no, somebody said something bad, or I got a rude message on my phone, or something terrible happened. And so this is this is this is what it is. Why? Because you have to deal with the Jagat. The Jagat has to be dealt with until this knowledge is gained, and then the Jagat doesn't have to be dealt with, because you have dealt with it as Ishvara. You have Ishvarized the Jagat, and then you have understood the Jagat as an extension of yourself. So there is no more dealings that are required. The Jagat is already, dealt with in that sense. But until this knowledge is internalized, the Jagat has to be dealt with. Until the Jagat is dealt with, quote unquote, the knowledge cannot be internalized. Here we have a catch 22. A very nice, very nice image of the cat, the cat or the dog. Animals, sometimes they chase their own tail. So, so what to do? Until I deal with the Jagat, until I see that the Jagat is not a cause of consternation, is not a cause of trouble for me, this knowledge will not take place. And until this knowledge take place, I do not have the keys to deal with the Jagat. What to do? Study the Taittiriya Upanishad, because there is a simultaneity of approach here, which is very beautiful, which comes in the Upanishad, which Bhashyakara is out. This is how we say he teaches in compassion. He need not have pointed this out, but he points it out in these lines. And he says that this is because of this, that you are also getting the Tatastha Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana means the definition of Brahman vis-a-vis its relationship to the Jagat. So if you go to Rishikesh and ask one of the Avadhutas, Jnanis who are in a trance, what is the relationship between Brahman and Jagat? They will ask you a question back. What Jagat? Where is the Jagat? Jagat kidhar hai? They will say, where is the Jagat? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. What Jagat? Where is the Jagat? Simple. They just shut you off because they're not in that place at all. That's why so here Jagat means that which you have to deal with. And what is the Jagat? It starts with all names and forms, starting with your own body, mind, sense complex. That itself is your Jagat. And then if somebody has to deal with you, your body, mind, sense complex becomes the Jagat for them. That's what it is. And their body becomes the Jagat for you. Especially if it's a child and the child has temperature, fever, you have to take care of it. Yes, you have to deal with the Jagat in the form of the body, mind of the child. If the child is sick, etc., you have to deal with, with that Jagat. So your body itself is the Jagat. You cannot say Jagat is outside. It's not outside. The body itself, the product of five elements, that is itself is the Jagat. And so therefore, this is the this is the understanding. And so now what do? We have some, we have a lot of housekeeping here to do in terms in terms of getting rid of the cobwebs that sit in the brain. Some sweeping has to be done. Otherwise, we cannot go forward. And Adi Shankara, here Bhashyakara recognizes that, and then in commenting on the finesse of the Upanishad in taking us forward, also what is the Upanishad doing? He has already pointed out, and he's going to point that out a little bit further. What is the Upanishad doing? It is Ishwarizing each Maya. Annamaya is Ishwarized. Beautiful. As what? As Virad Atma. This Atma, this Annamaya is Annam Brahma. Yaha Upasate, we saw that. So this Upasana is on so many levels. Yesterday we looked at all the levels of the Upasana. On one level, there is a very fine line between the meditation and Jnanam itself. It is not a meditation anymore. When I understand that this Virad Atma is connected to me, this is not just food. It is because it is coming in the Jnana Kanda. I see it as Jnanam. Anna Prabhavaha Aham. Aham here means this, that which is expressing itself through this body mind sense complex. Anna Prabhavoham. And then what? Annapralinaham, Annaprabhavoham. And so this kind of a meditation, what is its effect? And why do this upasana even as a jignasu? Even suppose you say, I don't want sarvanna prapti, because that was sarvanna prapti was pointed out as the phalam. Phalam means the result of the upasana. Now, if you were to argue, I don't want sarvana prapti, I don't want to be surrounded by food. In fact, I'm trying to eat less and meditate more. If supposing somebody were to say that, we would point out, and Adi Shankara himself would point out to the alternative definition of sarvana prapti. Sarvam Brahma, Annam Brahma. Sarvanna Prapti is Brahma Prapti. Brahma Prapti in the form of a manifest Virad Atma, that which sustains everything. Ishvara. Ishvara in the form of Annadata, Ishvara in the form of Annam itself. So the Annam is gone. Ishvara has taken the place of Annam. It is just, this is why it is called the Ahangraha Upasana. I am included in this. My body is included in this. And it is just a beautiful way to understand the second definition of Brahman vis-a-vis the Jagat. What is the connection of Brahman to the Jagat? And that hypothetical Avadhuta Swami sitting in the Himalayas in Rishikesh said the correct thing. What Jagat? This is the Paramarthika response. But then on the level of the Vyavaharika, the empirical manifestation, what is the relationship of this Brahman, which is Asanga, which is not connected to anything, which is infinite, which is limitless, which is all knowledge, which is all pervasive, which has not become the Jagat. But there is a connection. On the very, very base level, we can say that connection is a Karya Karana connection, and this was pointed out in the earlier Bhashya also. Karya Karana connection. Karya Karana connection means cause effect connection. And Jagat is what? Effect. And Brahman is what? Cause. So now Brahman has a new title. It is imbued or given a causality. It's given a status of being the cause. Before it was just Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Same thing in the Chandogya Upanishad. Sadeva Somya Idamagre Asit. Ekameva Dvitiyam. Before this Jagat came into being, the Jagat was already there. Jagat was there where? As Sat. Jagat was in the form of Sat, and that Sat was one and non-separate from everything. There was no everything to speak of. That Sat was one and non-dually one. That Sat was one, non-dually one. Then what? If it is non-dually one, then this is the, then there is no problem at all. Because then now it is what? So Asit means what is it now? Now also it is Sat. Tat Sat. Sa Atma. Tvamasi Shvetaketu. Tat Sat. Sa Atma. Tat Tvam Asi. Sa Atma Tvamasi Shvetaketu. So that's why we have this Mahavakya Tatatvam Asi. So the Jagat cannot be swallowed up until it is dealt with. Dealing with it essentially means converting it into Ishvara cognitively. There is no other way to deal with it. Because there are so many names, so many forms, ek ke baad ek, one by one. How are you going to deal with it? Where are you going to deal with it? And when are you going to deal with it? You can't say namaste to each and every life form. You will, what is that? You will get tired. You cannot say hello to each and every person. 7 billion people on earth. And then if we buy into the concept, why not, of parallel universes, there are so many more jivas everywhere else in other galaxies, in other planets. How are you going to deal with all of them? Dealing with the Jagat means dealing with all the Karya. Why should I deal with the Karya when I can just deal straight away with the Karana? That is the thing. You have a choice. Before Vedanta, everybody relates only to the Karya. I relate to the body, my own body, and then I relate to other bodies, I relate to objects. And then those objects are the cause of disappointment, sorrow, fear, and all kinds of doubt, despair, etc. Hopelessness. That is what it is. They are the cause of all that. Oh, then what should I do? Why are they causing alienation and sorrow? Because I am dealing with it from the standpoint of a separation. I am not this thing that I am dealing with. So there is a subject-object relationship. Even if I deal with another person, I am objectifying their body, I'm objectifying their mind, I'm objectifying their words. So in a way, I'm dealing with the object alone. Oh, but why am I not dealing with them as subject? Because that is you. The I in you is the I in him, is the I in her, is the I in everything. In it also, any inanimate object also is nothing that is the same Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Swarupa Lakshana. But the Tatastha Lakshana means the applying this Swarupa Lakshana to all the situations and transcending that. transcending the differences and not letting the differences be fearful. And in order to do that, Tatastha Lakshana must be understood properly. Tatastha Lakshana means understanding the cause-effect relationship between Brahman and the Jagat and seeing Brahman as the cause. Ishwara, then Brahman gets a new epithet, God, Ishwara. Oh, wonderful. This is what Ishvara is, yes. This is Ishvara. Ishvara is the created everything. Srishti Karta. Ishvara protects everything. Srishti Gopta. Then Ishvara, everything resolves into Ishvara. Srishti Samharta. Karta, Dharta, Samharta. This is what the Bhagavan is. And then this is the relationship of Brahman and the Jagat. And what is the relationship? This Brahman gains a new title. It's like your friend, You, you had a friend who was very close to you, who used to come and go and everything. And then suddenly decided to stand for elections because that's what is on people's minds in America. They just finished an election. So suddenly decided to stand for election. Did not expect to win, but then became a mayor or a council member, city council member, mayor, something, corporator, something like that. And then still your friend, no problem, but then has a new title, mayor. And then if you greet this person in the group, you can't say, "Hey Subbu, what's up?" You cannot say. You have to say, "Mr. Mayor," because that respect for the padavi has to be given. Respect for the padavi has to be given. It has to be recognized. When you're one-on-one with him, you can call him Subbu, no problem. And, Ramu, Subbu, whatever you want, you can call him. But in public, you will say, let's say you are called to introduce him to the public because he is your friend. And then you have to say, I have known Mr. Mayor so-and-so for such a long time. Like this, you will say. And this is exactly what it is. This Brahman which you which you knew as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and now suddenly has a respectful epithet. Before it was not even available for objectification, even now not available for objectification, but has a kind of a imbued or quote unquote superimposed causality. The crown of causality has been placed on this Brahman, which was before Satchidanandam. Satchidanandam Brahma. And what are you? Satchidanandam Brahma. Okay, I thought I was one and the same. I thought I was same. Me and Brahman, same. But then suddenly I find that this Brahman has put on airs. Jagat Karta, OMG. There is a distance, you see. There is a distance. And what kind of a distance? Karya Karana distance. Brahma Jyeshtham Upasati. Brahman has, even in the form of this annam that I eat, this Brahman has become big. Jyeshtha. First born, so to speak. Prathamajam. And so therefore, from what? From the standpoint of this Brahman, expressing in this lowly body mind sense complex, that Brahman, this is from the mind of the Ajnanam, that Brahman in the form of Ishvara seems very, very far away. How can I be that Brahman? This Brahman laments. This Brahma sits and has a good cry. Up till now, at least, I thought I was Sachidanandam Brahma, and Brahman also was Sachidananda. I was Atma was Sachidananda, Brahman was Sachidananda, everywhere Ananda. But then I looked at Brahman's resume and there it said Ishvara. CV, yeah. So, curriculum vitae, resume I looked at, it said Ishvara, like the creator of the whole universe. And what has this Ishvara created? My body given by Ishvara. OMG, my mind given by Ishvara. My senses given by Ishvara, my parentage given by Ishvara, and my prarabdha given by Ishvara, and my horoscope given by Ishvara. In India, they used to, at least 5, 10 years ago, I don't know what the condition is in now, they used to try to, plead, the parents would plead with the doctors. Please let the child they would beg for a C-section. It's very painful. Why should anybody want a C-section when the birth can be natural? No, no, no. Give us a C-section because we want the baby to be born with this horoscope. They would already pre-draw the horoscope and say, beg the doctors. You please, make the baby born on this day. You please induce the labor or do the C-section, do something. But the baby should come out at this particular time because then the baby will be a king or a queen. Very, very wonderful horoscope is here in this small little window. See, already you know where the story is going as soon as I said small little window, half a day window. And Bhagavan has other plans. And then what? Suddenly the doctor has some emergency in the family, cannot come for the C-section. And the baby is not born in that exalted yoga, in that exalted nakshatram, etc. So then what? So my prarabdha, my horoscope is decided by Bhagavan. This Brahman, which I easily assimilated as my friend, as none other than me, and Brahman also Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and I am also Satyam Jnanam Anantam. All I have to know is know it in my buddhi as myself, Kam Khatam, and I'm done, I'm finished. I know there is nothing more to be said here. So easy this knowledge is, so wonderful to hear. And then looking at Brahman's CV, I find this is not the entire story. In fact, I owe of my birth, the birth means of this body, mind, sense complex. I owe of my life, I owe of my parentage, I owe of my karma. Everything is here. And so, what kind of a relationship is it? It is an intimidating relationship. It's an authoritarian relationship. It's a hierarchical relationship. Because I'm not calling the shots. You can say I'm not calling all the shots, but the truth is I'm not calling any of the shots. Anything can happen. That's why giving rise to that old, proverb, cliched proverb. There is many a slip between the cup and the lip. Anything can happen. I can only take care of a few variables that I can control. I can control a few variables, but then what I cannot control the hidden variables, of which there are many. For every known variable, there are at least 10 more unknown variables. Suddenly this Brahman has to be dealt with as just like I dealt with Mr. Mayor, just like that this Brahman has to be dealt with as Shri Bhagavan. Yeah, this is what I have to do. I can't talk without folding the hands. This is exactly what happened to Arjuna. Arjuna was slapping Krishna on the back. He never thought it's anything big. He thought this is like my uncle, a nice, very friendly mentor. And they used to do a lot of mischief because Krishna is very fond of mischief. So they used to climb into the neighbor's mango tree and then take all the mangoes before the neighbor had a chance to harvest them. They used to go and do this, do that, all these things. And then as he learned more and more, in the second chapter, he learned about the Swarupa Lakshana of Brahman, and then later on, the Tatastha Lakshana was there, starting with chapter 7. And then chapter 11, he got really, really frightened after understanding that what is this cosmic vision? This cosmic vision of Bhagavan as the ruler of the universe is not something to be laughed at or scoffed at. It is very, very alienating. Especially if you don't understand. That's why the Swarupa Lakshana is taught before Tatastha Lakshana. That's why that Swarupa, that oneness in that Swarupa is understood, so that that can be a buffer in dealing with the relationship of Brahman to the Jagat, so to speak, on the empirical level. And what happened to Arjuna? Anybody who has looked at the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita knows. He heard a knocking sound. It was his own knees. He got scared, he got frightened, and he kept on circumambulating this Vishwarupa in the form of Lord Krishna. And he said, I'm sorry, Kshamasva, Kshamasva. 100 times he says sorry. Yad yad pramadam kritam, whatever mistakes were made, ahara nidra shasana bhojaneshu, shaganeshu. So when we shared a room and or when we shared a meal, I was very informal. I teased you. I made fun of you. Don't give me karma phala for all that. Please help. And you are great. I am nothing. I'm a small, I'm a small khadyota. Khadyota means glowworm. The glowworm feels lowly when it is introduced to the sun. And it's so much that the worm, it forgets to glow. It's just worm, that's all. It's not a worm, it's a little flying insect. But nonetheless, so this glowworm, it's called glowworm. And so this glowworm, when confronted with the sun, what would it feel? How lowly it would feel. The same thing it is there for the jiva. And that lowliness leads to loneliness, alienation from the source, because the source is suddenly scary. The source is not some kind of a lullaby, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, like this. No. The source is scary. The source is Vishwarupa. The source is that which is doing prahara, karma prahara. In the form of karma, it is beating me. Just like the Sri Rudram says, Namaste to your anger. The Jiva, the devotee says, Oh Bhagavan, Namaste to your anger. Namaste to your bows. Namaste to your arrows. Why bows and arrows? Because Rudra means that which is fierce. So fierce, karma phala data, that is the connection I cannot handle. Bhagavan as karma phala data is very frightening. And here the devotee visualizes the karma phala data, the giver of the fruits of action, as a as a hunter. I'm hunting you. The arrow is pointed squarely at you. You can't run. Here you go. Here I am. There you go. Oh, you went there. Don't worry. I can come there. Wherever you go, right there I am. Pun intended, because that is the truth. Because there is no you other than me. But all that is forgotten. The Swarupa Lakshana goes out of the door, the door of the brain, and it is the buddhi is not able to hold it. Why? Because here is an authoritarian relationship, a hierarchical relationship of Jiva and Ishvara. So the Jiva is the glowworm and Ishvara is the sun, the bright sun. Khadyota, one is, the other one is Bhanuhu. This is Viveka Chudamani example. Very beautiful, ancient example. So this is what is the connection? How can the Khadyota and the sun be friends? One will fry the other. This is what it is. And so here the alienation comes from that internalized distance. That internalized distance is the cause of this alienation. And because of this internalized distance, because you have all the power, that fear itself, is incapacitating. That's what happened to Arjuna in chapter 11. Why? Because the Swarupa Lakshana was not and the Tatastha Lakshana, even though they were given up to chapter 10, were not completely internalized. He still has 6 more chapters to go before this knowledge could be properly assimilated. That's why. And the second reason he was scared was because he decided to bring himself out of the show. He thought he will sit and make some popcorn and keep on eating as the cosmic Vishwarupa Darshana is underway. He thought he was going to see a movie called Vishwarupa Darshana because Bhagavan gave him some 3D glasses. Sometimes people are wearing these 3D glasses and seeing movies, their hands and legs are flailing and they look funny. And so that's what happened. So he thought he's seeing a movie. Only then he realized that I cannot, this separation causes anxiety and sorrow. Because when I put myself out of this movie, then the fear is even more. The alienation is much, much more when I externalize this. And when I externalize Ishvara, then the alienation is much, much more. When I say this Ishvara is here out to get me. And karma phala data, this kind of power, that kind of this, everything, this fear. I'm riddled with fear. I'm riddled with sorrow, and so therefore, and the kosha. Of course, there is a wrong identity in every kosha that everybody knows. But then, in repairing in understanding this, the locus of error, annam, and the product, this body as the product of annam as a locus of error, there is some a great another error is also repaired. The Upanishad repairs another big error. And what is that error? Alienation from the whole. But what is this hole and where is this? All I can see is a big hole in my understanding. Where is this hole that you keep talking about? The hole right now is in the form of annam. That annam which we have been eulogizing, which we have been talking about endlessly. We have been food focused for a long time as this Annamaya Kosha is underway. We have been talking about food. This Annam, how are we supposed to look at this Annam? Upanishad gives. And the Upanishad says you are supposed to look at Annam as a manifest Brahman, a manifest form of Ishvara. Now, is it scary? No, I love food. How can chocolate cake be scary? How can ice cream be scary? It's not scary at all. It's not at all scary. Why? Because I know food. I love food. I eat it every day. I have a friendly relationship with food. And what does it do? It nourishes me. And now, can you see food and can you see that food is Brahman? Yes. Can you see food as Ishvara, Virat Atma? Yes. And that Ishvara is not just the giver of food, but food itself? Yes. And so, what is your relationship to the food? This body is a product of food. Now, again, here, Karya Karana relationship, and first, and then this body is non separate from Brahman, this as food. So this body is part of, here you can use the word part of this manifest jagat. This body is non separate from Virat Atma. That is why this Annam Brahma Upasana. And there now there is no alienation. So, in each kosha, the tatastha lakshana, the swarupa lakshana that was already there, taught before in the words Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, now is also going to fold in another ingredient, meaning the second definition of Brahman as the cause of the Jagat. The cause also is not permanent. The causality is superimposed on that Satchidanandam Brahma. The causality is, as it were, superimposed without Brahman undergoing any change whatsoever. It's an as though superimposed causality. It is not that causality is dispensable, cognitively dispensable. It is something that comes and goes. So it is not intrinsic to what Brahman is. And so Now what happens is that he says Annamaya means what? Anna Vikarha Ayam Deha. This is what is Annamaya. And what is Annamaya? Sthula Shariram. The physical body is what is called Annamaya. That is what Annamaya is. So, like this, we have to understand. And so, the Annamaya is equal to the physical body, and then this physical body is what we understand as Annamaya Atma. And then this physical body now is made one with through this upasana as Virad Atma, which is the what? Annam Sarvasya Karanam. Therefore, this Anna Bhutam Brahma, Brahman in the form of food alone, is the cause of this Deha. At this level, Brahman has a new name. It is called Virat. And with this Thula Namarupa, in the form of Annam, it is called Virat. So, this Viradatmakam Brahma, which is the cause of this Sharira, Annamaya Sharira. So, this Annamaya, what I call Annamaya, meaning not the Jiva, the body, etc., is not different from Viradatma. See, here also there is a oneness. Oneness on the level of Tatastha Lakshana is also very nicely conjured up. And so now in addition to this body there is the ahankara, mind, etc. Sukshma sharira is there also, but then there is the and which is responsible for dehatma buddhi. Dehatma buddhi is because of Atma Ajnanam. Because of Atma Ajnanam, there is alienation between myself and Ishvara. Because of Atma Ajnanam, Dehe Atma, Dehameva Atma iti buddhi. Deha eva Atma iti buddhi, Dehatma buddhi. So this body itself is I. This kind of a buddhi is there. And since the body is concrete and the I-ness extends right up to the physical body. Beyond the physical body, there is no I. So if you touch me here, I'll say, if you pinch me here, I will say, ow, stop it. Don't pinch me here. But if I pinch the air right above the fingers, then then nobody will say, ow, because that is where the sense of I-ness stops. The ahankara extends up to the physical body, the I-ness, and then beyond the physical body, it does not go. So therefore, this physical body, the sthula sharira itself is a separation. And that is the reason why this atmatva buddhi, dehe atmatva buddhi is there. Why the atma buddhi is there in the body. How to eliminate that? That is where the Virat Atma comes into the picture. This Virat Upasana. Very useful because the body is included in Virat Atma, and then this Virat Atma is the cause of this Deha. So that which we call Virat pervades the food as Karya and then pervades the body. Indirectly also pervades the body because the body eats the food. And because this Virat Atma is Sarvasya Karanam, Sthula Bhutasya Karanam, so this Virat Atma is the cause for everybody. Everybody and everybody. Annamaya. And then this Annam is Virat, and they say so from Annamaya up to Anandamaya, everything is Virat Atma. Everywhere this Karana Karya connection is going to be there. So now this Brahman, which is which is in the form of the five what are they called? Not koshas. What are they called? Elements. Panchabhutatmakam Brahma. This is what is called Virat. And out of the bhutas come what is called bhautikas. Bhautikas means born of the five elements. And what is your body? Bhautika. Bhutebhyaha jata. Bhautika. And then in this bhuta the all the elements are there in this body. Everything is in this body. So this virat, this bhautikatma is also part of what we call virat. Not just your body, whether it's a body born of an egg like birds, reptiles, andaja, or jara yuja, mammals, pigs, horses, etc., anything, or other things, other beings which are born under moisture, humidity, like Svedaja. And then what else is left? Andaja, Svedaja, Jarayuja, and one more is left. Forgot. I used to remember, but now I don't remember this time. What is the fourth one? Andaja, Svedaja, Jarayuja, and then one more is there.
Udbija, Udbija, Udbija.
Udbija, Udbija. Thank you. Plant. So the plant world. So the whole plant world, however it is born, it is still, Virat Atma, Virat Atma, all of them. Udbija, trees, plants, shrubs, bushes, all of them are Bhautika, all of them are Virat Atma alone. So therefore, this Deha is not just connected to Virat Atma in the form of Ishvara, in the form of food, but it's connected to every single thing in the universe that is born. This is really huge. Every single thing that is born in the universe, every single thing that imbibes food for nourishment, whatever form that food may look like, this is huge. This is wonderful. And so therefore, this is, and this Deha is also included in all this. Andaja, Jarayuja, Udbija, Svedaja, every ja, it is there. And then, even though after studying this kosha, the Vyashti Buddhi, the individual Buddhi will be there in this body mind sense complex, saying, "This is me, this is my body." At least we are not saying, hopefully, this is I body. One different to say, "This is my body. This is the body I have to take care of. This is the body I was born in." That's different. But at least after this section, after this brilliant section, with Bhashyakara's help, so far, we are seeing that no longer will that identification express itself in the form of what? I body. I body are not saying. And so therefore the I body buddhi goes away. And then so this so the therefore what? So therefore this so there this is this is how the Vyavaharika and the Paramarthika are talked about in a spirit of reconciliation. In fact, this Vyavaharika, what we call is also ultimately Paramarthika alone. There is only Paramarthika. The Vyavaharika, what we call the empirical reality, is an incidental expression of the absolute reality. That's all what we say. It's a projection. It's an as though projection. And so, so therefore, this is what it is. And then if we are talking of empirical and absolute, then it's okay, because the empirical, as I told you, is already absolute. But here there is a third, there is a third kind of a reality that is intervening, born out of ajnanam, born out of that separation of myself from everything else. The jiva is alienated from other jivas. One form of alienation. The jiva is alienated from Ishvara. Of course, we talked about this. Another form of alienation. The jiva is alienated from the jagat, from the five elements, etc. Third form of alienation. Jiva, so therefore it is called Jiva Jagat Ishvara Bheda. There is separation everywhere. There is separation between myself and other jivas. Before even going to other jivas, there is separation between me and myself. What I want to do is what I should not be doing. And so there is already dharma, adharma, conflict, all kinds of conflicts are there. And then there is separation between me and other jivas. Who are you? Why are you here? What are you doing? Should I be afraid of you? See, the Western in India, it's always been a more or less no touch culture. So then, when the pandemic came, nobody, Nobody worried about it. Nobody had to put posters saying, please don't hug strangers and acquaintances and friends, because nobody was hugging anyway. We always did namaste. But in the West, what is there? The shaking hand. Shake hand. And if you look at the origin of the shake hand custom, it was because people used to carry a gun all the time. And then most of the people are right-handed. A large number of people are right-handed. Few lefties are there, but but most of everybody is a righty, more or less. And so the right hand would come out of the pocket and to say, this, what is that? Anupalabdhi pramana. There is no gun in the palm of my hand. See? And then there is no gun in the palm of your hand either. Okay, haath milao. Let us just shake on that. This is what shake hand really was. If you go and look at the origin, this is exactly what it was. To show that I am not a threat and you also don't be a threat to me. Let's do business together instead. Let's have a meal instead. Otherwise, it was just shoot at sight. Everybody was just afraid of everybody. And so this is the fear of other jivas. What will they do to me? And you say sorry first because you hurt me first, and you first disarm yourself, then I will disarm you. All these things are there. And of course, the individual is alienated from Ishvara. Who are you? Why are you? And who asked you to give me such a lousy horoscope? I don't like you very much today. You can tell this to Ishvara. Ishvara will say, all right, let's see what happened. Okay, fair enough. All right. Don't worry. Tomorrow will be a new day. A new yoga is starting for you. Don't worry. So, like this, so there is alienation all over. And why is this alienation there? And the whatever question I asked today, the answer is Atma Ajnanam. Okay, because of Atma Ajnanam, the alienation is there. Alienation is there due to Atma Ajnanam. And then because I don't know myself, I don't know I am Brahman. Even though I studied a little bit of Taittiriya, which said Nihitam Guhayam Satyam Jnanam Anantam, it it went over the head like a plane, meaning it made noise, that's all. I didn't understand it fully. That's why we are here, caught in the Andamaya Kosha unfairly and squarely. And so, therefore, the third order of reality, which is a projection of the Jiva, is as though born alongside Atma Ajnanam. Atma Ajnanam gives rise to Vikshepa. This Vikshepa is projection, just like Maya Shakti at the Samashti level has Vikshepa in the form of Ishvara Srishti. At the Vyashti level, at the individual level, also there is Vikshepa in the form of Pratibhasika. The third order of reality, Pratibhasika. A subjective reality with which I paint the Jagat. So I always see what I want to see. I don't see what is there. I look at the Jagat with the eyes of desire, with the eyes of longing, with the eyes of wanting. Trishna, Trishna ridden drishti. Trishna Drishti, Trishna Darshanam. And what do I see? Oh, you, maybe you can be of use for me. Oh, you, I tried to befriend you, but then what did you do to me? You hurt me, you did this to me, you did that to me, right from mommy issues, daddy issues, the whole Jagat. Because if you want to paint the Jagat according to your own subjectivity, you need some colors. What are the colors? Two primary colors, Raga and Dvesha, along with mommy issues, daddy issues, hurts and pains from early childhood. They become the colors for these jivas lament, for these jivas pains, for these jivas sorrows. They become the colors. They become the colors, and the whole Jagat is colored. This is, this is the Pratibhasika. So Paramarthika means what? Ishvara. Ishvara in the Annamaya, what is Paramarthika? Your own body, Paramarthika. No problem in saying that. And your hunger, pranamaya, that is also paramarthika. But then when you say, oh, why it only happens to me? Why when I'm hungry, there is no food in the fridge and I have to cook? Your emotions, even that, there is, that also we can say is paramarthika. Ultimately, I'll tell you later. But here, that is the cause of subjectivity here. The wrong understanding of the Jagat because of the distorted vision, the cataracted vision is coming in the way of seeing what it is. I don't see the Jagat for what it is. I always feel that everybody and everything in the Jagat, including Bhagavan, is out to get me. That is what it is. That therefore we have to deal with this order of reality called pratibhasika. And what is this pratibhasika? Just like your dream, a mistake, like even the rope snake. And so then what is the point? In order to deal with Ishvara, not deal with Ishvara, in order to assimilate this knowledge, you have to reduce the pratibhasika. Pratibhasika has to be reduced, the subjectivity has to be reduced. And then this is what has to the objective the deha, the body, the food that you eat has to be objectively looked upon. And that is where the annam brahma upasana, meaning that this is caused of food, everything else has come from the food, it is non-separate from food. What is this food? Food is Ishvara in the form of Virat Atma, which is the cause of this body. And that's what it is. And then when you start looking at it this way, then what happens? There is a release of this Pratibhasika, which we had earlier referred to as Gauna Atma. Dehe nashte aham nashtah. Where you have Dehatma Buddhi, that is called Gauna Atma. We had earlier referred to it. So there is a release from Gaunatma. If the body is destroyed, I am destroyed. If the child is destroyed, I am destroyed, etc. Emotionally, even though I live in one body, I am connected to other bodies as though they belong to me. The body of the spouse belongs to me. The body of the mother and father belongs to me because I came from them. The body of my own child, because my child came from me, that also belongs to me. This is how the person thinks. Very, very interesting. Everything belongs to me. And then so you keep on extending the eye to all finite objects and people in the world. And then what? The study of this is the error. Because we keep saying locus of error, this is the mistake. And so from this, because of the study of the Annamaya as a kosha, you come back to the body. And then the body is converted into Vyavaharika Atma called Mithyatma. Mithya here means Vyavaharika. And looking at it as non-separate from Virat, the Karana. And this is how the individual body, with all its complexes, with all the body shaming, with all, oh, I don't like this part, I don't like that part. And if you just go, if you go to Florida, you will see that all these fellows are in business because nobody likes the body. They are called cosmetic surgeons. Cut this out, make this out. And now all teenagers want something called a selfie face. This has become very common in East Asia, I'm told. What is this selfie face? Because as soon as the young adults, they take the selfie, especially women, they kind of pucker their face. I can't do that. Something like this they do, and so in order to give themselves high cheekbones, and they all look like thin birds, and that's the idea. And then so one young girl went in Japan and showed her selfie photo, and she said, "I don't look like that. I want to look just like that. So can you just sculpt here and make this high and shave off here, and so that I look like a bird here." You know? There is a reason why you were not born as a bird. Why you want to make your face like a bird? I don't understand. And the doctor thankfully had some scruples and just drove her away. This is what she herself wrote about this young 20-year-old girl. And so like this, so the now understanding this these body issues, as you know, and understanding the body itself as Virat Atma, there is a resolution of all the body issues in the in the samashti, in the total. And so what if the body is karya and the karana is Virat Atma in the form of food? We have already said the karya is non-separate from karana, even though the bheda is there. And then, so then so mithyatma is what we call vyavaharika. Okay, so then, but still it is not paramarthika. You don't know what is paramarthika, and the vyavaharika will not come unless you understand paramarthika. So what to do? So for the time being, this is so brilliant. The Upanishad is so beautiful. For the time being, what is paramarthika? Anna is vyavaharika. So this is all about Annam Brahma and Anna is Virat Atma, etc. So now what is Paramarthika for me? Don't stay here. For the time being, the Paramarthika is going to be told as Anyontara Atma Apranamaya. Another Atma is there. Previously, the Atma Buddhi that was in the Deha due to avidya, avidya parikalpita. This Atma Buddhi was in the Deha, but because of understanding this Virat Atma, food as Karana, Karana as Virat Atma, and Karya as this body as Karya, which is non-separate from the Karana, what happened? Then the Atmatva Buddhi connected to the Deha hopefully goes away. Then one is told, please look at this as Paramarthika. Anyontara Atma Apranamaya Tenaisha Purnaha Sava Esha Purusha Vidha, Purusha Vidha Eva Tasya Purusha Vidhatam Anvayam Purusha Vidha. This is going to be told. And why is this going to be told? Because the Upanishad is leading you like a mummy, like a mother leads a child by hand slowly, slowly, slowly. The toddler says, I can't walk, carry me. The mother is already carrying groceries, can't carry the child also. And what will the mother say to the child? "Ah, it's not very far. No, very far. No, 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 the house is just around the corner. Where? Do you see this gate? Yeah, just walk up to the gate. That's the house, yeah. Then the child walks up to the gate. Oh no, there is more. No, 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 it's just up till here. So from the gate, we just have to take a left turn, that's all. So, like this, slowly, step by step, the mother lovingly, compassionately, cleverly leads the child without even knowing how far it is walking. So, too, here the Upanishad is leading this inner child, the Jiva, the childish Jiva, on a pilgrimage, a journey to the innermost, so to speak, innermost within quotes, to the self. To the innermost self, this journey is going to be made. And so it is like this, another maxim, Arundhati Darshana. The newlywed couple are shown this celestial couple who have now supposedly are abiding in the world in the form of stars. Vasishtha, the sages, Vasishtha and Arundhati. So they say, please see. And so first you show a bright star, probably the pole star or something is shown. That is Arundhati. No, 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 no. Look to the left of it. Oh, there is another star there which is forming a square. Oh, that is Arundhati. That must be Arundhati. No, 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 no. That's not Arundhati. Look at just below. There is another star. That's Arundhati. No, no. Now that you have seen that star, look to the right and a little bit bottom of that star. Ah, I see it. I see it. That's Arundhati. No, no, no. That is Vasishtha. Look right next to that. Oh, that is Arundhati. You see? Why before itself it could not be said that is Arundhati? Because the person was not in a position to see it. That is why. not prepared to see it. And so here also there is no adhikaritvam, that preparation is not there. And so far, this unprepared or the adhikari that is almost getting prepared, slowly, 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 the Upanishad is going to take you on a pilgrimage. And you're led further and further, and then you slowly. Then that's why we have Anyontara Atma Apranamaya. And you can't complain. Why didn't the Upanishad tell me this directly? You can't complain. Why? Because the Upanishad told you directly. What were you doing? Sleeping in the first few classes when it was Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma directly. No introduction. Om Brahma Vida Apnoti Param. It was told directly. The knower of Brahman gains the ultimate. And what is this Kim Tat Brahma? What is this Brahman? Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. It was told directly. And what was the use? No use. That's why, since that did not have much of an effect, this other method of dealing, of being in the world, not of it, of understanding my own connection to my body, my own connection to my mind, my own connection to my kartritvam, through to my bhoktritvam, and all this is beautifully, you are taken on a pilgrimage. It's almost like walking into a temple. First, there are these outer doors, and then you go in there. There is a courtyard, then there is an inner door, another courtyard. Then you go up a few steps, one more courtyard. Then you go up, then there is a temple hall. Then you go inside, then there is another hall, more abhyantara, abhyantara, abhyantara. Then after that, there is a sanctum sanctorum. And then the arati is done. Guha. It's literally in a cave. The main deity is in a cave, kind of a cave like unlit, mildly, dimly lit structure. And there, when the arati is done, the whole deity is lit up head to toe. Ah, so beautiful. Here is Mother Goddess, Kanya Kumari, wonderful. You just are in awe. It is awesome. And then, that is exactly what is taking place inside. These are all doorways, doorways which should not be there, doorways of separation, doorways of alienation, and doorways of wrong identification. They are totally going to be dismantled until one understands oneself as that Guha Nihitam Brahma alone. This is a good place to stop, and then we'll see more next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaga Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Paramarthika. Paramarthika definition. Paramarthika means that which is absolute. Paramarthika. Relative. Vyavaharika. Yeah. And one's own subjective reality. Pratibhasika.